Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Anita Wong. I'm a board certified emergency medicine physician and fellow in anti aging metabolic functional medicine. I'm practicing preventative medicine, preventative aesthetics, focusing on resilient immune, mitochondrial support, giving you abundance energy, restoring energy, better intimacy, stronger core, anti leaking, and anti sagging to improve quality of life with optimal health and vitality to the very end. And I think that, being an ER physician, I'm used to working on men, women, children, being jack of all trades. I like to say master of a few instead of not many, but try to master it. And I know we focus a lot on some of my topics. It sounds like may have been women's issues, but I deal with also men issues. And one of the things that I think that is is come to my attention is maybe people don't think or realize that it truly is a male andropause, is that what we call it, or a male menopause. So after the age of 35, it is possible. I mean, that does happen. 1 to 2% of decline per year of your testosterone, and maybe there's a significant decline in 20 to 40% of men by the time they're in their 60s. And 60s is the new 40s, right? But many people just rush into wanting to get hormone replacement for men and for women. But sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterones, all the sex hormones, insulin, um, thyroid, all of these really make up a component of how healthy we are. And men as early as in their 30s can have some decline of their testosterone. And so if you're feeling bad, you're just not feeling yourself, or you're feeling fatigue, or you've noticed some muscle loss, or a low sex drive, or just not as good performance, some sexual dysfunctionality like erectile dysfunction, or poor motivation, or just mental disclarity, or what we can call brain fog. All of this can be related to possibly a low testosterone. So if you have a testosterone around 250 to 300, that could be someone who's in their 90s. So if you're a man who's 20 to 30, and 60 to 600 to 1,000 is a really good range, and you're about 400, and you're noticing some of these symptoms. You're not having the sense of well-being. Poor sexual dysfunction, apathy. These things. It may be worthwhile treatment, and a good number may be. 400 may be good for someone who's in their 40s, late 40s, early 50s or something. But if you're 20, 30 and it's 400, maybe having another issue. But before you do that, what you really need to look at is your lifestyle and your body habitus and your diet and what's going on, because some of the effects of testosterone is affected by just the drivers of life. So your driving testosterone down could be stress level. So if your cortisol levels are high, they're going to gobble up the testosterone. And you're going to have, if you have lack of good nutrition that can produce, so not enough cholesterol, not producing a good amount, and lack of exercise, or poor sleep quality, or too much of a good thing like alcohol, or too much of pots or marijuana, just having bad relationship. All these stresses can really affect your testosterone level. I mean, they did this study where they found that they took a group of men and they test their testosterone, and the before and after the football game. And The team that won, the men who their team won, their testosterone levels went up, and the team that lost, their testosterone went down. So the mental state and the mental stress, the effects can affect your hormones. So stress is a very big factor. So if you know that you're an executive and you have a lot of stress going on, and you just don't have that well-being sensation, reduce your stress, escape from the day, have gratefulness, and just relax and get the parasympathetics in, get that balance going in. Nutrition. So one of the building blocks of hormones is our micronutrients, our macronutrients, like healthy fats. So we need cholesterol because that's the building block of testosterone. So if you're on a statin, and that could be lowering your cholesterol. And just eating fruits and vegetables and exercising and reducing your belly can reduce the high cholesterol to a good level. So statins with your stress and not sleeping and high cortisols and really can block your block the or what we call testosterone steal. It's just going to steal your testosterone and just lower it and block it down. Um, Now, fatty acids can help build it up, and a little bit of saturated fats is also good. So, one of the things that is going to drive and impact and drive your testosterone down is going to be sugar and inflammation. So, if you eat a lot of breads and pastas and pizza and then sugary drinks and sugars, and you build up a big belly, your testosterone is going to go lower and your estrogen level is going to go high. Your insulin level is going to go higher. And you're going to have that belly. And then you end up with having man boobs. So, man boobs, and that's from too much estrogen that's growing in the belly from the poor diet and lack of exercise and inflammatory. So you want to have a diet that's going to keep your insulin level and your glucose level stable, not too many spikes. So you want to eat too much starches and sugars, too much beer. You get those beer bellies, and then you're going to have loss of function, and then loss of hair, and then those man boobs, right? So when you see someone who has that big beer belly, they have too much estrogen, and then they have a little bit of boobs, and it's going to drive their sex hormone down. Um, the the dry the well actually the sex binding globulin is actually going to grab onto your testosterone. When it does that, it even though you may have enough testosterone, it's going to make the active form of it less active because it's going to bind onto it. So the more free estrogen you have, and then that belly that's driving, and it drives up the sex hormone, that binding globulin, and that when that goes up, it lowers your testosterone. So the bigger the belly, the more of these protein that's developed that grabs onto your free testosterone and just makes it functionally less active, right? So you want to be able to make sure your testosterone is not converting to too much estrogen. And some of that factor is when your thyroid is not functioning as well. So if you have a low sex drive, you may want to look at your thyroid. So you don't want to just look at testosterone alone. We need to look at all the sex hormones, look at the sex binding globulin. We also want to look at your insulin level, look at the pituitary, look at the thyroid. All of these are working in conjunction. What are your cortisol levels at? Because you just can't look at one number alone and then know what's going on. The other thing is if you have a lot of alcohol, as I said, when you have a lot of alcohol, especially beer, we know about the beer belly, the more visceral fat, the more that you have visceral fat, and you're going to have increase in metabolic syndrome, then you're going to have more glucose dysregulation and insulin elevation and increased estrogen. All of these are going to affect your testosterone level, and you're going to end up looking more woman-like because you're going to have the boob and you're going to have all those things. So you want to have a good, healthy fat diet, rich in fibers, and so that's going to be plant-based. So the first step, if you think that you have some male male menopause, or andropause as we call it, which these symptoms are low energy, you feel sad, you're depressed, you're just not as motivated, your confidence is not as good, your concentration is not there, you're having difficulty sleeping, insomnia is not you're having insomnia, you notice you're having increase in fat or even belly fat, reduction in your muscle mass, just feeling a little bit weaker, gynecomastia or developing of breast, decreased bone density, erectile dysfunction, um, reduced libido, and infertility. All of these are signs of andropause. So, we want to do the first step is just to address your lifestyle, fix your sleep, fix your stress, start your exercise, do a strength training, fix the diet, cut out the sugar, the alcohol. You may actually just feel an improvement. So, when you boost muscles, when you boost the testosterone and exercise and build your muscles and do strength training, you're going to build your testosterone level. So just by doing strength training, you may boost your testosterone. Meditation will boost your testosterone because you're lowering the stress, lowering the cortisol, which high cortisol steals the testosterone. Avoiding alcohol. But if we need to, we'll go to a simple fix, or an added. So if the first step for 6 months is reducing all the toxins, checking your gut, looking at your nutrition deficiencies, looking at your diet, looking at the stress, looking at your sleep, looking the lack of exercise, all of these factors. And then if we've adjusted those, then we're going to bump up the testosterone, either by injection, or I don't really like pellets because you can't really adjust them. Creams kind of get messy because they can transfer to other people. So it's very simple to just do an injection of that. We can also use peptides to help boost, and then depending on we can do also some um, aromatase inhibitors that block the testosterone that are converting to estrogen. So if you're getting too much, um, making too much estrogen, we don't want the testosterone to be converting to estrogen. We want it to stay. So we're going to adjust that and use that. We're going to use diet and lifestyle. And then we may actually then need to use actually look at hormones and adjust the hormones. That. So when you do hormones and the treatment, there are a few side effects. So we want to monitor and test. So we always want to test and measure. You want to measure first. I like to use the urine because, as I said, and best. If you just test in blood, that's going to tell you what's in the bank, what is there. Doesn't tell you, so you can measure it, monitor it, but as long as you had some numbers to follow along. Saliva is much more the cash on hand, what is there readily to be utilized. And then urine is going to give me receipts and give me actually how it was utilized, how much is there, and what's going on, and how it's metabolized. So we want to do that first, check in the urine, see where all this is going. Where's the testosterone being used? Is it being blocked? How is it being manifest? Is it more the alpha causing male pattern baldness? Do we need salpenemol to shift it over? Do we amortize to move them over? So, and then if we get to the point where we are going to use hormones, we want to monitor it. I may monitor it, see what is readily available on the saliva, but we're going to make sure that you don't get too much oily skin or fluid retention, or the testicles are shrinking, because the testes is where you make the testosterone, and if there's now not feel that they need to produce, they may shrink. So we don't want that, and decrease sperm production. So depending if you are still wanting to have children, we want to adjust to make sure that your testosterone is not overwhelming the testes, that they're not being productive. So I think so in general, I think that the basic message is, before anyone starts to give you testosterone, because just treating with testosterone alone will not necessarily fix the problem, because you can get the testosterone, but if your lifestyle is still converting it, and you're getting extra testosterone, and then it converts it to too much estrogen, or it's being globbed on by the sex hormones and then not being active, so you could get more, your numbers could be high, but the sex hormones are making it inactive. So you need to know all these numbers to make sure, and not just be getting the hormones, because there are times that people have come in and said, I've been getting the hormones, I've been taking it, but it hasn't been helping. And looking at them, we can see that the lifestyle things were not adjusted. So first, fix those lifestyle things. As always, 75% of that of your genes are affected by what you do. And I'm here to help. I'm here to work in collaboration with your physician, and and as always, so hopefully you found that useful, and find some tips that you can adjust, and stop the andropause. And as always, if you find this information helpful, please share it, like it, pass it along, and consult your doctor if you want to make any changes before you stop or add anything. And I'm happy to work collaboratively with your physician. And I'm, as a subspecialist in optimizing your health, if I said it right. And you can always reach me by my website, anitawangmd.com. And you can schedule a complimentary discovery call with me, or you can call 949-734-0580 and leave a detailed message if I don't get to the phone, because I'll be maybe busy with someone. Until next time, be safe and be well.